All right, so what is the hardest thing about being a missionary kid? The absolute hardest thing you dealt with on the mission field?
There's a lot of things. Um, but one thing I talked to my sister about was being away from friends and family, especially whenever you feel like you need to be home. Like right now, my grandpa has cancer, and but so like I'm here in the U.S., but the rest of my family's in Guatemala, and they visit as often as possible. But there's a lot of moments where my sister like she just doesn't get to make those memories with my grandparents and our family around, and I think that's probably one of the hardest things. It's like the hardest thing is just missing people. Like you just get tired of just missing people because you've been able to meet so many wonderful people, um, and moving and different things. You just miss people. You've had the blessing to meet these amazing people. And for me, like I left my hometown. Not all missionary kids leave a hometown. Like they're born on the mission field, but like what a blessing it is. I think it's like a Winnie the Pooh um, quote.
Winnie the Pooh
Like
quote.
um, loosely something that says, how good is it that we have something that makes saying goodbye so hard, you know? So it's just kind of like that type of deal. Yeah.
I'd like to add in something if I can. I know a lot of you guys are Christians, and you message me, and I love that. Keep messaging me, letting me know who you are about your lives. But if we could just if I could just put this plug in real quick, pray for Heather, pray for her grandfather, pray for that whole family, because that's a hard thing, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So just cover that family in prayer.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
really appreciate
of
it.
course. Love you. I wish I could fix it. I can't. Really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
So I'm a fixer. But anyway, what is the best thing about being an MK?
Me and my sister, you know what the first thing my sister said? She's like, experience points. You get so many life experiences. Like, it's crazy. Like, no one can say that they've been to 4 countries in one day. Like, I've been.
You've been to 4 countries in one day?
Yes.
That's 24 hours, people.
It
She's
was
been
an
to 4
18-hour
countries in 24
road trip.
hours.
My passport got so full on that trip, going to and backwards, because you leave the country, stamp, and enter the next country, stamp, and you do that both times. My sister woke up from being asleep on the car trip, and she's like, for the border crossing, and she's like, "What country are we in?" Like we didn't know because we were just sleeping and just going through the motions of just going through all of that. So there's definitely
cool.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of experience things that we get to experience, and we got to go to the beach a lot of times just because we live near the tropics, or fresh avocados, like 10 for $1. Like, come on, like that's amazing. Meeting all these wonderful people and the experiences that we've gotten to see on teams and the people that we reach out to, like there's so many things of cool stories of just how God provides and being able to be a first-hand witness. So yeah, experience.
I mean, honestly, you're talking about you and your sister feeding these 15 people, and I was sitting here thinking like Jesus fed 5,000, and that only counted the men. That didn't count the women and children with those 5,000 men.
Yeah.
So I mean, if God can do that, you can take care of 15.
Yeah.
Through the power of Jesus.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And his strength does shine through our weaknesses. So.
Yes. Definitely. So yeah.
All right. It's awesome. 2 more questions for you. All right. Last 2 questions. What advice would you give to friends of MKs? So just, I hate this sentence because it doesn't sound clear. I'm going to ask Heather to give advice to you. If you're not an MK, but you have a friend who is an MK, she has some advice for you,
yes.
The friend.
Yes. We take longer to open up to people just because we're so used to people coming in and out of our lives with either hosting teams or moving or doing something like that. So just like don't expect us to like open up on the deep stuff for a while. Let's see what else I said. Please be aware of whenever you complain about first world problems. It really, especially if they're fresh off the mission field, it is a really big struggle because you've actually seen these people who actually are starving and actually are like going through all of these things. And so when you complain about first world problems, about like your water tasting funny, or like there's just so many things that I just like internally cringed because I was just like it's something as a missionary kid you have to learn to deal with. But oh my gosh, when I first was off the mission field, that was rough. Please keep in contact with us. We are going through a lot of changes and stuff in life, and we're going busy places, but please send us messages. We will respond to them, but please keep in contact. There's so many friends that when I moved
from US to Guatemala.
Yes, that they didn't talk to me for the longest time just because, like, life was crazy.
You lost a lot of your support system.
Yes, I did lose a lot of my support system. But a lot of our generation relies on social media and different things to keep updated. And so, like, social media was not just, like, a fun, like, pastime for me, but that was, like, what's happening and, like, somebody got a new boyfriend or something. Like, I had no idea what was happening in people's lives if it wouldn't have been for social media. And also, if they're just moving to the mission field, so there is one for just moving off, we're just moving to the mission field. Again, please be compassionate as they're going through a lot of transition and they're going through a lot of changes in life, and just be a support system and just listen. So, like, there's a lot of things where you could try to give advice on, but just listen and just be there for them because they just need people around them.
If I could just interject in there too, I think you would totally agree with me, Heather, but if you don't, let me know. But I think also, like, it's really important for any kid who has parents in any kind of ministry at all is to, when we're with our friends, let us be kids. Let us hang out and have fun and be goofy, because so much of our lives, so early in our lives, we're not doing that. I mean, I remember being 11, 12 years old and having a very deep adult conversation with 5 other adults waiting for the stupid board meeting to start.
Yeah.
And there were no kids there, and I didn't have a lot of opportunities to be a kid. This isn't my video, but I feel like you relate to that, though. It's like there's not a lot of opportunities to be a kid. You're always on the move. You're always helping in some way, which is a good thing because you have a beautiful servant's heart, and I love that about you. But, like, MKs, you guys really need time to just act your age. It's not a sin to act your age.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And also, please be prepared whenever we will mature at, like, light speed, the speed of light, or whatever that phrase is, because we're going through so many things at one time that we will mature like crazy. And so, but again, dittoing that, like, give us space to be able to be kids and be goofy and talk about like Zac Efron or something.
I don't even know who that is. That's just gonna kill me. I don't even.
That's just be
a child.
Be a kid. Like, there's a lot of times we go live and we have a lot of expectations on us, and we're in, like, speaking in front of churches and doing different. I have so many stories. But
maybe I'll bring you back to share some stories.
Yes,
that'd be great.
But, you know, like, we're just kind of, like, in the public eye a lot sometimes, and we just need space to just mess up, to be real and be honest, I think.
To mess up, to be real and be honest. I love that. Yeah. That's so true. I relate to that as a PK too. To mess up, be real, be honest. I like being raw and vulnerable with people, and that's scary. It's scary for me too. So if you're like, I'd never be raw and vulnerable, I get that. It's hard. God's taking me on a journey of that, but it's so beautiful when it's done with people who are worthy of trust, which I'll talk about in my video, because this is not about me, but it's a good thing to keep in mind. So, final question to your amazing video.
Oh my gosh.
What advice would you give to a younger MK, or what advice would you have given to your younger self, looking back, about specifically being an MK?
Because there's so much transition involved in being a missionary kid, and just a lot of stuff that goes into it, I would recommend getting, like, a therapist or somebody that you can talk to really work through all of the transitions and changes, because not only is it your life changing, but, like, your family is changing, and in a way, like, they're all going through the change and they're processing it differently, and so having somebody to talk to you about that would be very, very helpful. Just, not that there's anything, like, wrong or that there's causing a lot of problems, but just everyone's going through a transition, and there's a little bit of grieving involved in moving places, especially when you move places from people you love. So just having that as like the first thing, as I purposely put it on my first thing on my list because of how important it is. Um, Also know when, if you're becoming a missionary kid, that your friend groups are going to change, they're going to morph, and it's going to be a part of life. It just kind of, sometimes people come into your life and ebbs and flows. It just comes out, and to kind of brace for it and understand that sometimes you're going to outgrow people, and sometimes people are going to have a hard time understanding all the things that you're going through.
And there's a lot of times where God put certain people in your life for a season.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's that too. Keep that in mind.
Yes, definitely. If you can, before or after, get a dog or an animal.
A cat is my recommendation.
I'm a dog person.
Cat person. But we're still friends.
We're still friends, but but because there's so many times where just like having that comfort, having that little support system with an animal who doesn't really, an animal can't judge you. An animal doesn't really it can't judge you. It can't I don't even know how to describe it, but it just only knows how to love you.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you're going through all of this stuff and you don't understand your emotions, you don't understand anything else, that they can just come and snuggle with you.
And they can pick up your emotions too.
Yeah, exactly. And just like, when you're making a move and you're transitioning countries, there's a lot of trimming and pruning that happens in your life, both emotionally, spiritually, but also physically. And so I would recommend whenever you're having the big yard sales and you're selling all of your stuff, quite literally, to keep one comfort item, because everything else is gonna go away, or you don't know how long you're gonna have stuff like that. So having one comfort item, a blanket, a stuffed animal, something that reminds you of home or of each place that you've lived and learned to love, is very helpful. You're probably either going to be homeschooled or going into a missionary kid school. I was not homeschooled. I went to missionary kid school. And just because you're going to a missionary kid school or a Christian school, this can go for anybody, doesn't mean that everyone's going to act Christ-like.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
And so, like, I went into it kind of expecting there to be like a immediate like friends,
Christians,
like,
we're good.
or like support system. But it was high school. Like, there's high school things that are just universal no matter where you are.
Yeah.
And finding a church when you move is difficult, especially if you're moving and you have different languages to deal with, and you're also kind of like the missionary kids and like I don't know, we don't sparkle or anything. We're human too.
We don't sparkle.
We don't sparkle. We don't glow in the dark.
Sure?
Like,
maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
But like when you move to somewhere and you have this big introduction of, oh, these are the missionaries. Sometimes it's harder for the congregation to truly like accept you and to really let you in their bubble, I guess. There was a long period of time where, like, especially because I didn't understand the language too, so I was going to church in a different language. Thank the Lord for like online stuff now. So make sure that you're getting fed spiritually too. Like,
somehow
you need to be taken care of too. But it's gonna take a minute to figure out what works for you, what youth groups work. If you can find an English church, that's great.
Or whatever your first language is.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let me see if
it's wise to keep learning the language of where you've moved to. That's going to help, I think, a lot, bridging those gaps and with relationships and ministry overall. But I would seriously stress literally just what she was saying is, like, make sure you're being fed. Like, maybe it's not on a Sunday. Maybe you watch random stream on Thursday night. Like, maybe your church back home live streams on Sunday, but you watch what they posted to YouTube on Thursday, or whatever works for you, just so that you can still have that. It's like a connection to home, but it's also just you being fed by the Lord. And I don't think it's fair to underestimate the time that you just spend one-on-one with the Lord in the mornings or whenever you get to that. I think that's going to carry you. I think that Heather shared her testimony with me. She's not going to share it here. But you went through some really hard, difficult times, and I think more than anything what you shared is is your personal moments with God and your relationship with him carried you through that and brought all of the healing that you needed.
Yes, definitely. And like, protect your time with the Lord. It's very important.
Protect your time with the Lord. See, yes. Girl, she just like hashtag everything, man. Yeah, love it.
And one thing my sister said too, she said, God's got you. Sometimes it takes time to realize it. Also, spiritual warfare. Don't forget that is a thing, and the devil is scared of what you're doing and doesn't like it, and you're going to be spiritually attacked. Homesickness comes in waves. When you first move, it's gonna happen. It's like every day, and then you will experience it as in like you'll experience it a little bit less, and then like it'll be like every 3 weeks you experienced a huge wave of homesickness that affects your emotions so much, and you're just kind of like, I would almost equate it to be like a girl PMSing.
Oh, great. That's on my channel now.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, but like it's real though. Like it affects you so much. And then it will come every 6 months, and then it'll just be like, "Oh man, I kind of miss this food," or something like that. So just kind of be aware, like homesickness is no joke. Like don't underestimate it. And being kind matters. Let me rephrase. Being kind matters so much more than you know. Like even whenever you're going through a lot of stuff, just truly pushing and emphasizing kindness. And that's pretty much it.
Well, that was our interview on what it's like to be an MK in the life of Heather. And again, she's not speaking for all MKs, but just giving that voice and her experience. And I'm sure a lot of MKs can relate to you. Yeah. So if you liked having Heather on the channel, give us a like, comment below on just how gorgeous she is, or like what hit you the most of what she said, and just
or if you have any questions let us hear from you in the future.
Yes,
maybe she'll invite me back.
Absolutely. If you guys can like comment below like questions for Heather, we'll bring her back for more in-depth PK or MK stuff, or a certain missionary story, or just things like that. Let us know. You also have my Facebook, my Instagram, and my ministry emails as well. So I will throw that in this video or link below, depending on how long this ends up being. Yes. But you will have that information so that you can reach out to me. And then if you want to get in direct contact with Heather, I will set that up for you, probably through a Gmail account, just to keep her protected. And I'd love to hear more from you guys, so just let us know what you thought of this video, and hit that like button.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Support her. She's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah.
All right. God bless, everybody.
Yes, God bless. I can't be short. I can't do bullet points. Like, I'm a chismosa. Like, I'm here for the chisme, for all the details. I know you don't know what that word really means, but it's basically like a girl who wants to know all the tea. Gossiping, but
like you live
Latina. Like, it's life. It's part of life,
Love this girl.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Pull us back on track real quick. I love her so much. Heather is just an amazing person. If you ever meet her in real life, walk up to her, have a conversation, be like, hey, saw you on YouTube. Let's get to know each other. She's awesome. Please come to me as well. But anyway, probably gonna edit that out. Whew. So,
but those are the main
so we both have a tendency to just talk, and as women, we love details and we love context, and so it's gonna be challenging in both of these videos to just like not do that.
Culture. That's pop culture. I know we're pop culture. Wow.
Okay. So I've been born and raised in the U.S., but I don't pay attention to pop culture because I don't think I've ever cared. So.
Okay. Anyway.
Can anybody agree if you do not know much about pop culture? Has anybody else been living under a rock, apparently?
I don't know who Zac Efron is. He's Troy Bolton from High School Musical, woman.
I don't know if I watched that.
You're gonna make me cry, woman. That is like the best. That is the
I'm gonna make you cry?
Of our generation.
Really?
Okay, we're going on a tangent right now. We need to focus it back, but
we'll
talk
such
about
a blooper.
Wow. Okay. Where were we? I don't even know where we were.
I need to laugh and then I'll put this back.
Oh my gosh, I need some water. Holy cow. Woman!
Yeah, so we're clearly a very lively bunch over here.
We're just spicy, it's okay.